up? The Creative Masterminds Podcast.
We're back.
We are back from the very short hiatus. We had to do some things, get some stuff done behind the scenes. I guess we just need to take a little break. It wasn't like we were fighting or anything. It was just like more so just us just taking a break from the podcast.
Handling business, you know.
For sure. And a lot of things has happened, or at least in my end, in my world, injuries, sickness, and all these different type of things that occurred. And I'm pretty sure a lot of things happened in your life too as well during the hiatus.
Most definitely.
It's quite amazing, like the amount of things that could occur. Like I guess, just by taking that break. But anyway. So welcome to the 9th episode of the Creative Masterminds Podcast. You got Sean Breeze here in the house, and you also got
Cash 3. What's happening?
What's up? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are enjoying life. Hope you guys are just filled with a good amount of energy and just so much creativity, and that you're knocking out life in a wonderful way. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just going off the top of my head. But you know how we do. First, we start out with the week summary, and then we go into our topic. Our topic for this week is centered around, help me out, Cass. I'm old.
Yeah, it's one of the topics is, surfing life, the waves that come and all of that, just pretty much just surfing life and handling as it comes. But we'll go elaborate more into that. And the other part was,
it's going to be really built upon that because I'll say that's maybe the main thing, really, because I felt like this week embodied that, like my mentality, the things I had to overcome this week in order to perform well on this job that I got last week. It took some perseverance, some overcoming of obstacles, and just riding the waves and not really getting mad and down about things and how life was going. And it just took me time, or it made me have to gain better focus and make sure that I was focused so I can be able to do a good job. So I think we're gonna really kind of write that topic out for the
Congrats
most part.
on that too, man.
Thank you. I
dope.
appreciate that.
Sure.
So do you want to go ahead and start with your week, and then I can go into mine, or how you want to do it?
Yeah, I can start out with my week.
Okay, cool.
Had a pretty good week. Was blessed as always. First starting off, my son, he had his first outdoor soccer game.
A word?
So we went to that. Yeah, that was
cool.
real dope. He went out there, performed, did his thing, and he was killing it on the defense.
Nice.
And had to get him back into playing soccer and all that, because he's been off for a couple of weeks with the rain and all that. But yeah, so it was dope getting out and about to go see him play his first outdoor soccer game, and just getting with the fam. And also, let's see, just spending time with the fam.
Also, you're working on your boxing belt thing. Did that start this week as well?
That did. Launched that on Facebook, also on Instagram and Twitter. It's The Boxing Bell.
Mm-hmm.
And
explain what that is.
Yeah, it's pretty much my interest in boxing, physically doing it, and also being a viewer and watching, just being a fan of boxing and the boxers and the fights that are out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it briefly last time we recorded. And so now I created the brand, The Boxing Bell.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just put that out there and started launching content and all that. So y'all check that out if you're interested in boxing and want to learn some tips. And, that energy is just, got that for you at The Boxing Bell. So,
well, speaking on boxing, just quickly, I didn't watch the fight, the Canelo and Triple G one, but some people were saying that it was, more so Triple G winning instead of Canelo or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that? Just a quick take.
I would say Canelo won that because the first fight, I would say Triple G won.
Mm-hmm.
He was just pressing more, and he was pushing forward, and Canelo was boxing. It was close. It could have been a draw. I mean, both of these fights are real close. So in a close fight, it's kind of like preference. So whatever you consider to be the harder work, or which would get the get the points to win the round. So
Gotcha.
you're dealing with a 12 round fight. So anybody could really win. It's all about perception, and that's why it gets sticky with the judges because it's their preference, you know. But this fight, I think Canelo, he first off, Triple G after the first fight, his trainer said that Canelo wasn't fighting a Mexican-style fight. And a Mexican-style fight is when they are head-to-head and they just stand there and go to blows. It's not really any movement as far as feet and trying to move around.
No technicalities type of thing or what? Like, defense?
Not as much like, you know, Floyd, he moves around and he's elusive. And so it's standing toe-to-toe and just going at it. So this fight, Canelo stood there, which surprised everybody, definitely surprised me. But he was in there, you know, in the center of the ring. This is where the fight was. It wasn't on the ropes. That was pretty much in the center of the ring. And he was backing Gennady Golovkin, Triple G up. And you rarely ever see that. Maybe in the Daniel Jacobs fight a little bit, but you rarely see that. So he didn't fight Mexican style. He was running. He was trying to box. He was jabbing and all that. So that's why I think Canelo won the fight. And that's what a lot of, veteran fighters like Roy Jones and Andre Ward, they were saying that. So
cool, solid. Yeah, I just wanted you to drop that knowledge right there so you guys can know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
In terms of boxing. So go ahead, check out the Boxing Bell, right?
The Boxing Bell.
And also you have the Glove Talk. Is that going to be on the same page, or how you going to do that? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, that's like a series of it where I just give a weekly update on the news and get it in on the heavy bag a little bit or whatever I'm doing, just to give a little tips and all that. So yeah,
cool. Fire, make me want to start watching boxing more. Okay,
yeah, get it. That's why I'm doing it, man.
Okay, all right, cool. That's nice.
And it's fire, man. Like the end of this year, there's going to be so many fights by the end of December, by January next year. So ending this year, there's going to be a whole bunch of good fights. So, you know, I think people will be tuning in.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. I need to check it out. All right.
Most definitely.
Anything else happened this week?
We actually got our ladies together.
How can we not talk about that? Duh. So we finally got my fiance and his wife. We all had dinner at True Foods. And honestly, the food wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. I was kind of embarrassed, like, oh shoot, I told people to come here, and it wasn't super duper fire. But and it wasn't about the food; it was more so about the fellowship. I would say,
right. The fact it was a great one.
It was good. It was a good one. That great one. You right? My bad. It was a great one where we all just got together, just talked, and just really got to know each other outside of the podcast for the most part. Of course, we'll chop it up like texts and phone calls, but we will really mainly chop it up whenever we do the podcast. So it was great that we got outside of the podcast world and just chopped it up as friends and just enjoyed each other's company and had a very good time. Sipped some beers. It was in Plano Legacy, if you know where that's at, Legacy West or whatever. I think that's what it's called. And so we was over there chilling, and it was a good night for sure.
Definitely.
Rainy night, but it was a good night.
Yeah, that was a good night. Good times.
Anything else?
No, that's it, man. Had an eventful week though.
Cool. For me, man, where do I start? So, okay, like we said, or obviously you know now that we skipped a week of podcast. So usually we record on Mondays, but we switched it up to record on Friday just for better editing time and just for a better product for you guys. So anyway, on Monday, thankfully we didn't record because I ended up getting sick. I woke up with a very scratchy throat. I was like, damn, I was really kind of somewhat bummed out about it, but I was like, hey, it is what it is. And so that whole day I was like taking shots of apple cider vinegar, kombucha. If you don't know about that, these are things like probiotics. They are very helpful in helping your immune system overcome sickness.
Tell them.
And it did work really well. Like the next day I woke up with no scratchy throat at all, but I still had some congestion. So I figured that, well, I just go ahead and just go for a run to knock out this congestion.
Yeah.
And so my old ass, at the tender age of 32, decided to go on a run. And usually I run 3 to 4 miles, but that day, I decided to take it easy and just do 2 miles. And so at the 1.5 mile mark is where
you know the mark, huh?
yeah, at the 1.5 mile mark, that's when I'm cussed. Shit got bad, or I wasn't focused. Like usually when I run, I try to focus on my breathing. I try to focus on my stride to make sure that I'm just focused on what's in front of me and not too much any other things. Like I try not to have things going on in my head. I try to really clear my mind. And the thing is, what I noticed and what I realized, I wasn't doing that at all. I was like letting these other things like enter my mind, and I wasn't really focused. And so me having a lack of focus caused me to miss a dip or hit this dip in the ground. And yes, my 32-year-old ass did a tumble.
Rolled.
Rolled on it. And then I was like, Peter Griffin. I know you guys seen the meme. Of Peter Griffin holding his ankle like, But I wasn't saying, I was saying, fuck, really loud. Like I said, excuse my language. But I was in excruciating pain. It wasn't that bad, but I'm putting extras on it for the podcast, of course. Yeah. But I was in pain for a little bit, and my pride and my ego was hurt more. And so I woke myself up. I'm like, hey, man, I can't just be sitting out here on this trail. Like, people just biking past me, looking at me crazy. Let me get up. Let me muster up some strength. And so I did get up, and I had to walk 1.5 miles back to my vehicle with a bum ankle. And so it was just a crazy start of a week because, well, the thing is, with this week, it was my first job, or actually I had my first job this week. Which was me live streaming a church service for this conference. Well, more so, it was me live streaming this conference at this church, and it was this big job for me because I haven't really did like work in like 3 months or so. And so for all these different things to had occurred at the beginning of the week, of course I could have got like super duper bummed out, but for some reason, I just took it as a part of the game. Like, hey, that's what life is about. Like, you're gonna have these bumps. You're gonna have these obstacles that come in that you have to overcome, in things that will really test your focus, basically.
Right.
And so that night, though, I just put some ice on it, or my lady gave me some ice packs, and I put some ice on my ankles and on my ankle. And in the morning, it felt a little bit better, but it was still pretty terrible. So I had like this ankle brace on. And so anyway, at least by the next day at the evening, my ankle was a lot better, and I was able to perform my job. And the job went off, like at least the first day, the job went really well, where I had zero issues really. Mm-hmm. I streamed on this Facebook page, and it was a flawless stream. Not too much lag at all. Sound was pretty decent. Was pretty good because I had to take sound from their sound system. It's not like they have sound engineers there, which is like a humongous problem. Like, I need some engineers there to actually make sure that this sound is top notch. I can't engineer everything, but anyway,
right, yeah.
And so, but the first day went really well. The second day, it went decent, but not the best because of some different things that occurred with the internet speed, whatever. So the stream wasn't as smooth as the first day. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out some issues. I'm trying to figure out some solutions and some remedies for it tonight, because tonight is gonna be my bad. I'm up here dating the show, but the third day is gonna be the final day of me doing it. But anyway, that's like a whole story with me, how I got the job, and I think I can talk about that once we dive into the topic. So
yeah.
All in all, though, it's been a good week. It's been a very fast-paced week. As you guys know, I quit my job a few months ago. During those few months, I kind of really chilled out. Not kind of, I really chilled out. I really just slowed down and just got myself good. And so this week was the first week of me like working with people in a bigger, like, mass type of situation where I'm actually employed by somebody. And so it took some adjusting, but I think it went really well. I think it's going pretty well. And so I can't wait for it to be like over like today, whatever, so I can get back to my chill recluse life. But oh no, the week is going pretty well, I would say, for sure. But in summary, well, that this week is like I had to overcome some obstacles, and it really tested my focus. But I'm good now. So anyway,
no doubt.
Let's get into the topic. The topic, Cass, as you explained it, which is like basically going with the flow. I know I'm not using your same words. I know you use the words of like surfing and riding the wave and stuff like that, which is like to me, translate to me, basically going with the flow. And so, so tell me how you try to go with the flow and how you try to ride the wave of life and not resist it.
Yeah, I got that idea or came up with it. I was watching it was a podcast or a interview with LeVar Burton. Mm-hmm. If you guys don't know, that's the guy that does that did the Reading Rainbow when we were little kids, and the guy.
I was about to say he's the blind guy on Star Trek.
Star Trek, straight up, yeah. So during that interview, he said that he's an energy junkie, and the interviewer was like, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, that he surfs life, and that really like stuck out to me, and it made an impression on me. I was like, that's definitely what life is about, because you have the ups and downs of waves, or the ups and downs in life, which are like waves, and the different type of power behind the waves. You have bigger ones and smaller ones and all that. So that really hit home with me. It's like, you have to first off be in that mindset where you're going to be on top no matter what. You're not going to.
Absolutely.
Of course, you fall off at times. You might wipe out or whatever. But
like I did on that trail. I wish I could. We're going to do a skit showing me how it happened. But yeah, you're right. You will wipe out.
That wipe out.
Yeah, it was a wipe. It was a cold wipe out too.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how it is. We have great weeks, we have great days, and then some that we wake up and we're not on that same level. We don't have the same energy level, and we just, we gotta basically put things in order or have ways to pick ourselves up in those type of situations and be ready to attack life. You know what I'm saying? If we're feeling, it's different feelings that we have and different emotions and things that we go through, but being on top and riding that wave, and if we do fall, like, what happened with you, if you do fall, trip up or wipe out, that you pick yourself back up and leave that in the past.
That's true.
And attack what's coming forward full head of steam, so.
Yeah, I like to add to that because I did make it a point to make sure that I did not become down and out about like becoming sick or me taking that spill on the trail. Like there was that, I'll say maybe 0.1 or 2.5-ish% of me that was like, oh, woe is me. The world. Like trying to get angry. But I'm like, hey, time to man up. Like this is man time. Like you quit your job. You made your decision. Ain't no time to be like crying and stuff like that. Get your stuff together. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
And I had to tell myself that and will myself, and also try to do things to make myself feel better. Did I want to get some ice cream? I did, but my fiance didn't want me to get some ice cream because it wasn't healthy for me. But I had to do some things to kind of make myself feel better about the situation. Yeah. But all in all, I tried to make sure that I maintain a very positive spirit after those big significant things like me getting sick and me getting injured before I do a big job.
It's how you look at it.
You have to.
It's how you look at it, because that's what either you're gonna push yourself to the point where you can, when these things happen, that you'll have that energy and that mindset to push forward, and it's like nothing. That's just how it comes. There's people that have that type of mindset, which grow and improve and all that, and then there's a type that could lead something like that, or even worse things that could lead into depression or the negative thought process, and then get caught up in that whirlwind of one negative thought and then allowing other ones to come and all that. So it's better, things happen, take it for what it's worth, and then continue on in that positive light. Try to push in a positive manner, you know what I'm saying? Way of thinking and acting, so.
That's true. That is very true. Man, I'm trying to figure out how ways I can really add to that more. I would say, oh, okay. I want to talk about like like being like I guess we're going back to like the importance of being like self aware and being mindful or just to the point being self aware and analyzing yourself to pick up when you're in a funk or when you're resisting the flow of life and also to learn tricks about yourself to help you change your mood to be in a better place. Like for instance, yeah, I was bummed out about like the me taking those spills or whatever, but I maybe like well, I wasn't really bummed out, super bummed out about that, but I did some things like during the week to kind of help myself get better in a better mood. Like for instance, I did make it a point to still go to a gym, still go to the gym, even though I have like a bum ankle. Like, all right, since I can't do my normal hardcore workout in the gym, which is like me doing 2 miles on the treadmill and me doing 20 minutes on the Stairmasters. Since I couldn't do that, well, let me go ahead and put super duper hard work into lifting weights. And so that's what I did because I know now that I got my whole regimen down that going to the gym is like a big boost to my spirit. I would say like it just helps me be in a better mood. Just guess relieving your stress through like pumping weight and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, you have to be super duper conscious about yourself and know what your tricks are for yourself that will help you overcome any type of like mental resistance that's going on in your mind. I hope that makes sense. I'm just trying to word these things, but
yeah, it's like hacks.
Yeah,
that will get you in that right state of mind. So yeah,
And I'm saying like not hacks in a way where like for instance, like I said earlier, I was craving some ice cream. Like that's kind of like that's me using food as a way to like medicate myself. I don't want to say medicate myself, but make myself feel better. Like you know, like do something constructive. Figure out ways that you can do something constructive that will help you be in a better mood.
Yeah,
and be able to overcome your obstacles easy. Or if an obstacle comes your way, you're able to at least ride with it by like doing something that will help you make you feel better. And so
yeah, and you said I think you said the resistance or the flow of life. You said something like that, but it reminded me of another analogy or whatever that I've came across recently, and it's the elevator that's going down. You want to go up, so in order to get up, and this is like with things, obstacles, and to get to the level you want to achieve, and whatever it may be, that you have to run up that resistance. There's only one elevator and the elevator is going down, and to get up that elevator, you have to go against that resistance of the elevator coming down. And that's like in life. Anything that you really want to get, it's not more than likely it's not going to be handed to you and given to you easily.
True.
And if it is, a person's probably not going to appreciate it because they didn't have to put in that work. They didn't have any resistance from it. So those are the things that we really, that stick out in our minds and that have a special place in our hearts is those situations that we had to earn it. And once we achieve it or overcome it, that obstacle, and get to that level that we wanted to get to, it's from that type of, that resistance or having to go up that elevator and work for it. So yeah, that's what came to my mind.
It's true. I'm gonna add to that. To me, it's like my mind, or to me, I just at this point in life, I expect stuff to happen. Like I wasn't surprised that I got sick. I wasn't surprised that I got injured either. I like, that makes sense, especially before a big gig like this big significant gig that I pushed for. And let me tell a story about how I even got the gig, because I think there's a lesson within that. And so I got the gig via really me doing some positive karma type work. So I just offered this young lady named Karish from D Fashionpreneur. She's like a Dallas-based individual who strives to bring about empowerment to women. And so she hosts these different networking mixers and stuff like that. And so I offered to her, because she has helped me in the past, like get clients. I offered to her to photograph her mixer for free. And so I photographed the mixer for her for free. And that actually led to another job opportunity that I did last week, which I think I talked about. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, fast forward. She ended up reaching out to me saying, "Hey, don't you do video as well?" I'm like, yeah, I do videography. And so she linked me up with some other lady, and this lady linked me up with this pastor who asked me if I could do live streaming, which is something I have never done with like on a big professional scale. That's why I dragged out the never done. So I never done it at all, but I fudged my way into it. I finessed my way. I can do it. Yeah. That type of thing. And so actually before I actually replied, I actually did a little research to see what would it take to use my current equipment to get it done. And it wasn't really much. I just needed to buy like some type of capture card and some cables, and I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And so after I did my research, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can do the job. Hey, hire me. And like he asked for like proof of concept. I'm like, I don't have any, but I have done like personal streams myself, which I have done like by using my webcam, but not like my DSLR, my mirrorless camera, my Sony. But yeah, belief and faith in me, because I taught the talk, because I told him the process of what I would do, and he knew I knew the process, and so he hired me.
Yeah, you had the knowledge.
So I finessed my way into the job, and so that's a lesson within itself, which is like, hey, just because you think you're not ready for a job, you still might just want to go ahead and try to push for it just to see what happens. I hear too many stories where people like will have an opportunity and then they'll be like, oh, I don't know how to do everything that they want me to. And then they'll just basically talk their way out of the opportunity.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah, how do you bad? Yeah, because I felt, it was funny, because at that moment, I was going to say like, oh, I really can't do it to the guy.
Yeah.
But then some feeling came over me like, bro, you're a bum if you're going to turn down this opportunity. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I finessed my way into the job, and that's how I got the job.
Yeah.
And so I forgot the whole point where I was going to go. But anyway, I just ended with that.
Yeah, put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying?
Out there and go with, and I'll say that I think that ties in with going with the flow of things. Like, hey, honestly, I said it out loud. I'm gonna cuss again. I'm sorry. I'm not sure we're supposed to have a PG-13 podcast or not. I'm not. Nah. But I said out loud, I said fuck it before I reply. Like, F it. I'm just gonna put my best foot forward, and I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen in that situation? Is you attempt to do it and it didn't work out all the way, but you still have experience in trying that. So next time you would have done it even better. But of course, like, you're skilled, and the skills that you have, you pulled through, and you did a great job. So that's how it goes, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm still currently working the job, and so by the time this podcast comes out, they hopefully they won't see that. They're probably gonna see it, but it doesn't matter because I did the job already.
And I love the networking though, because you said they came from that the first connection that you had with the lady, where you did the work with her, and then word of mouth. And now look, you're doing that, and then look where that could lead from after doing this with the pastor and the church and all that, where they could tell about your work, and then go from there. So
absolutely, and so it's very essential. It's very essential that you just go with the flow of life and just try to put your best foot forward, even when you feel like you maybe deep down you have some type of anxiety, like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm ready.
That means
try.
You should do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it right there.
But yeah, in summary, going with the flow. So
yeah,
can you wrap it up a little bit more?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Going with the flow of life, and what comes, and putting yourself out there and taking on the challenges, because that's what's going to lead to you improving. This is another thing I've been kind of on, is being obsessed with improving myself, improving, learning new things, trying things. Like the last podcast, we were talking about getting out of your comfort zone, and things that make you a little uncomfortable. Step into that and handle that, master that, control that, and doing that is in itself is making you improve and making you better. In those type of situations, you'll be more keen to overcoming them. That's like also overcoming obstacles and all that, is stepping into situations that make you a little bit uncomfortable and all that, and handling that. That means when the next situation or obstacle, whatever comes your way, that you've been honing them skills, that you've been practicing that, and that you'll have a better chance of overcoming that. And even if whatever the outcome is, if you don't give up and fail or whatever, then you don't fail. You learn from it. You don't, if you don't give up, you're not failing. You're learning from it. You know what I'm saying? So
you made me think about like the importance of trusting in your abilities too. Like one of the main reasons why I went for the job was because I trusted my abilities. Like I know for sure that I'm a person who hates losing. I hate like not being able to do something that I think I can do. And so based off of that, based off me knowing myself and knowing how much work I will put in to make sure that I don't fail, that's why I took the job. Like, cause I know for sure that, all right, if I put myself up like, all right, here's a test, either it's either do or die. I know that 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, I'm gonna overcome it because I have that type of focus. And so that also helped, like, for sure that I trusted in my abilities. And you have to really trust in your abilities and be knowledgeable of what you can do. And even when you can't do it at that moment, but know what you can do with your current abilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So. And another question, some other stuff I've been on. How do you think talent and or say gifts and talent or something that you're born with compared to hard work and learning something and pretty much, what do you think is what does that compare? Do you think talent trumps hard work and
I would say hard work beats talent, because for sure, I mean, I know that's a classic saying, I know it's a cliche saying, but I really believe it because I feel like I'm talented as hell, but my work ethic is piss poor, if I'm honest with myself. And only reason why people like Future, I'm not saying that Future is trash, I love Future's music, but I'm saying like certain, like I kind of think about like the rap game, because there's a lot of people in the rap game who are seemingly like you would think like how the hell they get there, but it's because they worked their ass off to get to that moment. Like I think Future, yes, is a dope artist, exceptional artist. However, I think his work ethic is what really got him into the door as opposed to his talent, because it was him putting out those millions upon millions of mixtape. Like, damn, he got another mixtape, like mixtape damn near every 2 weeks or something like that, every month. That he kept putting himself in people's face, and he kept putting himself in people's faces. I'm trying to think of another example better like than Future, because I don't really want to add like Future is a terrible artist, because I do like his music, but I really do believe that you gotta, your work ethic has to be up there. It has to be top notch, and I think a lot of people gets us past, even though they have superior talent, but you have a piss poor work ethic. You're not gonna really go too much.
Yours can't be that bad because you'd never done that before, but you stepped into that situation. That's why I kind of brought that up.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure. Like
so
like, and so that's like one of the things about like me knowing myself is like I know if I put myself up to a challenge, that work ethic is gonna not notch up, and so I'm just trying to figure out ways as I continue to learn myself, like how can I push myself and almost be like Bruce Banner, where he can control the Hulk. Gotcha. I'm trying to get to that point where I can just turn it on, when I need it or when I want it, or if I need to, maybe I need to go ahead and try to go full on Hulk mode, and that's what I'm thinking that I need to head into. But of course, there's some like different things that I deal with that prevents me from going to full Hulk mode. That's like more sort of, I don't want to say personal stuff, but I'm still working it out. I'm saying it's a process. Yeah. But yeah, I'll say for sure though, like you got to have some type of work ethic for sure. And it's like, that's why I did quit my job for sure, because that put me in a do or die mode, like flight or fight. And so right now I'm back in, I feel like I'm back into the corner where like, all right, here it go.
Yeah.
Here go that jab, bow, you know what I'm saying? Knock out the opportunities. And so
most definitely.
But yeah. You gotta have that work ethic for sure. If you're talented, I seen too many talented people just like, for instance, I think a good example would be, I'm not sure you heard this artist called Blue, but it was this group, Blue in Exile. They had this phenomenal album called Below the Heavens. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out whenever you can. It's like a classic album. And the rapper is super duper phenomenal. But from what I hear, for the most part, his work ethic is piss poor. And thus he never really was able to rise to the top of the top. I think probably a better example would be like Paul Wall. Like I was listening to Paul Wall album the other day. Don't ask me why. But I was like reminiscing like back in the 05 or whatever. I mean, I actually kind of.
Which one? The one sitting sideways?
One with that. The People's Champ. His first national one.
It's fire. It has some joints.
Yeah, it has some joints on there, but you like listen to it now, like it sounds like it's not cohesive at all. It's like, you got Kanye West track over here that sounds one way, then you got this Texas track that sounds like this other way. Like it doesn't flow. Like it just sounds like more like a collection of songs that was put on the album and then released. But it sounded good at the time because I wasn't like paying attention to like sequencing of an album. Mm-hmm. But like listening to it now, I'm like, oh man, this must sounds all over the place. But anyway,
tell a story or anything.
Yeah. And however, I think he more so worked his way into that position as opposed to him having super duper talent. Is he a good rapper? He's cool. He's okay. He's not a phenomenal rapper, but I think he know how to work relationships really well. I think he know how to work really well. Thus, he has some acclaim and some achievements. I know right now he's like a person who advocates for like the cannabis industry and stuff like that. Cause I'm on Arian Foster's Now What podcast, which is a dope podcast. Check that out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just speak to your point. Yeah, you gotta have that work ethic, and that's what I'm trying to build up now. My work ethic and get better at that.
Most definitely. Rob Deerdeck, I follow him on Instagram. He's the skater. Pretty famous. He does the ridiculousness, and he's got that dude's. Man, he is a workhorse. He's got so many different brands and so many different shows. Like he's got MTV sold up. But it was this clip on Instagram where he was his son's probably like 1 or 2, very young, and he was talking to his son. And he was like, what is daddy? And his son said, hard worker. And he said, what are the Deerdecks? He said, hard worker and all that. So he was instilling in his kids. It actually got me doing that with my sons and all that. Is like, you instill that early or whenever you can take a grasp of that concept that you want to be a hard worker, you want to get things done. You can't just rely on talent and all that, because when you do that, it's also from the book that I was reading, The Growth Mindset. Mm-hmm. If you rely on talent and all that, when a person fails or does not reach that level of winning or whatnot, and we're just going off of talent, when that happens, then a lot of times people give up and they stall out because they're not used, because they've been winning off their talent. They didn't really have to put in the hard work, the practice and all that.
That's true.
So when you win from hard work, it's cool. But when you fail from hard work, you have to continue on to be a hard worker. You have to keep going with it, taking the failure as a learning process. That's the difference between somebody with a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. The fixed mindset is a person, that. Yeah, the fixed mindset is a person that they're used to winning, or that when they win, or they're stuck in that mindset of I'm going off of talent, or I'm going off of the situation where they are able to overcome it without hard work. But the growth mindset is when you lose, you still, it's basically what you're saying, accepting those challenges. A person that seeks challenges.
Yeah.
That's what the growth mindset is. The fixed mindset is a person that just wants to stay in that the coast mode.
Yeah.
Be in the situation where they're not pushing themselves to take on new challenges and stretching themselves.
And see, the thing is, like, if you don't try to push yourself to like take on challenges, like, you would never evolve.
Yeah.
And eventually you can fake it as much as you want to fake it. You can try to fake it, but it is my belief that you're going to go into a depressed state just trying to coast because you're going to feel unfulfilled. Naturally, you're like, oh man, because you know deep down inside you could do more. You know you can, but you still want to coast. Yeah. And so that internal critic is going to probably get super duper loud on you eventually, and then you might, things. I'm just gonna say things gonna get bad for you mentally, and so it is very important that you keep pushing. That you actually seek out resistance, seek out things that like you're hesitant to do, like, and then just do it. And because you never know what saying yes will take you.
Right.
You never know. Like saying yes to things. A lot of people are so focused on saying no. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Start saying yes and see what happens. Like, and the thing is, it becomes more apparent, like, to me, or it's becoming more apparent to me now that I don't have a job and that I just take on my opportunities as like I forgot what somebody called it or referred to it as. They call me a gigapreneur. I'm not sure what it's called, but basically where I go from gig to gig. Mm-hmm. And so you never know. In my life now, I never know where my next dollar is coming from. So that's kind of bringing some excitement to me because, like, oh shoot, and I just need to start saying yes because I never know what this door is going to lead to. Like for instance, did I have a clue that me saying or me offering to just photograph a friend of mine's event? Did I have that I had the foresight that I will be blessed with the opportunity to do the streaming for this conference? Heck no, but that's how the universe works. Like, you put your seed out there, then bam, look at the harvest. Harvest came out like a couple of weeks later, which is crazy. Yeah. So now I'm feasting.
Straight up. And hey, that I'm really on that the sowing and reaping and all that. So we'll have to, that's going to be a topic next week.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, cool.
Because that's going to be deep.
We're going to dig into that because like at the event I'm going to, they constantly refer to that. They kind of refer to like tithes as seeds, but I'm like, okay, I don't know about that. It is what it is. That's church world. I'm not going to get deep into that, but yeah, we can dig deep into that in the next podcast. But anyway, we talked long enough. The Creative Masterminds podcast. Mm-hmm. I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah.
Kaz, give out your information.
Yeah, you can reach me on IG at CAS_THREE, and also the Boxing Bell across all social media. Check that out, y'all. Got a lot of content about boxing, the boxing world, and peep it out for your boy, and I appreciate your support.
Cool. And check me out on Instagram at Sean Breeze, on Facebook OG Sean Breeze, really OG because of my ankle, and also on Twitter OG Sean Breeze. The Creative Masterminds podcast on Facebook, The Creative Masterminds on Instagram, and also on SoundCloud. We are also on iTunes as well. Check us out. We will try to get on Spotify really soon, so you guys can help us out and get the streams up so we can get paid for it. For sure. Yeah. And with that said, thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of the Creative Masterminds podcast.
Yeah.
The Super Duper Fire podcast.
And one question for y'all: are y'all creating or destroying?
Huh? Fact though, ask yourself that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you create each and every day.
Straight up.
With that said, peace out, man.
Y'all be blessed.